Welcome to the TransformationCoach.me podcast. I'm your host, Adam Shively, and I'm on a 1 million pound mission. I've personally lost over 100 pounds, and I've applied what I've learned from my own transformation journey to help my hometown clients lose over 35,000 pounds in just 5 years. Now, I'm on a mission to produce over 1 million pounds of results by delivering weekly tips, motivation, and my best transformation strategies to my podcast listeners, blog readers, and everybody I interact with through social media and my online coaching programs. The perfect time to start your transformation is now. So let's do this. What is up, my friends? How's it going out there in podcast land? It's your buddy, Adam, with another episode of the TransformationCoach.me podcast. This is episode 47. We're approaching that big 5-0. This one is the 4 lies we tell ourselves about not having enough time. Time. You know, guys, that's our most valuable resource, and it just seems like we never have enough, right? You guys feeling me out there? Now, unfortunately, when we're running low on time, the things that tend to get squeezed out of the schedule are the things like our workouts, our meal prep, sleep, rejuvenation time, me time, you time, whatever you call it. And so we're all out there trying to go 100 miles per hour through our days as we cut out the things that we need to live a long and healthy life. And this is obviously a recipe for disaster. So today, I'm going to cover the 4 lies that we all tend to tell ourselves about not having enough time to invest in our own health. But first, a quick word from this week's sponsor. This week's show is sponsored by About Time, because it's about time, isn't it? It's about time for a better brand of nutritional products. That's what I was looking for a couple of years ago when I was searching online. I was just kind of sick and tired of all the junk I was being forced to consume, all the chemicals and the processed products and ingredients that were out there with nutritional products and supplements. So I was looking specifically for a better protein powder, and I found that with About Time. I love the fact that there's only a few ingredients, and I could actually recognize what each ingredient was. No chemicals, no artificial sweeteners, and it tastes great. So I use their protein powder on a daily basis. I make my shakes, my protein power pudding out of it. We do protein pancakes for the kids. It's a high-quality brand, and I highly recommend that you check it out. Now, they are hooking us up. As TransformationCoach.me podcast listeners, you can save 25%, right? Awesome. So all I need you to do is go to www.tryaboutTime.com, tryaboutTime.com, and when you do your checkout, just enter in the promo code Transformation Coach, all one word, lowercase, Transformation Coach, and you will save 25% on every order you place. We got the hookup. Thank you to About Time, and I know you guys will love the product. Now on to the show. All right, so we're going to dive on in here with the 4 lies that we tell ourselves about not having enough time, and I've got to warn you guys, I'm going to be a little sassy about this one because I feel like the time issue is something that can be easily solved. We love to complain about it. I don't have enough time. Wow. I'm going to use my complainy pants voice. That's my complainy pants voice if you haven't realized that yet. I don't have enough time. Wow. So you're going to hear that a couple of times today, at least twice probably, I would say. That's the over-under is 2 on the complainy pants voice. So just be ready. I'm going to sass you a little bit because I feel like you need a little bit of a wake-up call on this sometimes. And if you are falling victim to one of these lies, we need to fix it right away, and you're going to get better results, and you're going to see some momentum build quickly. So lie number 1 that we tell ourselves about not having enough time. Here it is. If I can't give it my all, it's not worth doing at all. And I see people fall into this trap all the time. All right, if things aren't 100% perfect and in line with the perfect game plan, then they just quit or they never get started at all. All right, and when we're talking about your health, which is your life, we just need to get started and build momentum, right? Ramp it up a little bit and do the best that we can do. So here is the key mindset shift on this one. When I can't be at my best, I can still do my best. And I hope that you guys can see the difference, right? So it's kind of, I'll use the baseball analogy a lot, where a lot of people fall victim to going to like their kids' baseball games and they just cheat their face off and complain about it on Facebook. So, when you go to the baseball field, these people will be like, oh, I'm not going to get my regular workout in. I don't have good food here. I might as well just cheat my face off. And then really the key is you have to go on Facebook and complain about how terrible the situation is also. And I'll get to that in a second. But that is lie number one. If I can't give it my all, it's not worth doing it all. And again, the mindset shift is when we can't be at our best, I can still do my best. All right, so just do the best with what you've got. All right, lie number 2. Here we go. My career doesn't allow time for my fitness or food. All right, now again, this is super common. And when you're in this situation, the first thing you have to do is own the situation. Let me say that again. When you're in this situation, the first thing you have to do is take ownership of the situation, because you made a choice and it has brought you to this point. It isn't your career's fault, because you have most likely worked pretty hard and have had a goal to reach this point with your occupation, a.k.a. you decided to take on this challenge, so you can't put on your crybaby pants and whine about not having enough time for you. Instead, you need to take action to see if you can free up some time. Maybe talk to your boss, talk to your team, see what you can delegate, and never forget that you can always go back to the drawing board. All right, you have a choice. You can start over with a new path if that makes the most sense to you. Now, it was only a few years ago that I fell victim to this lie, and you really, if you fall victim to this lie for long enough, you're going to end up in trouble. All right, and that's where I was. I was just launching my business, and things were going really great. We were super busy. I was working 60 to 80 hours a week, working every day, and I wasn't sleeping enough. I was living off of quick meals. Like I was drinking protein shakes all the time. That's all I was doing, not real sound nutritional principles. I was eating clean, but I wasn't getting all the nutrition that I needed to fuel all the output that I was doing. And finally, after the third time that this regimen put me in the emergency room, whether passing out or having anxiety attacks, so after the third time, I emphasize third, I finally started to delegate. I hired more team members, and now I take regular days off every week. I set goals for how many days off I'm going to take per year, and I always achieve those goals, and it's nice. So things like vacations. So if you're the boss, you can always delegate, and if you work for someone else, you can talk to your superior, talk to your boss about burnout. Like, dude, I can't handle the workload. I recently had a client that, I've tossed a few ideas their direction, and they approached their boss and said, hey, I need to reduce my workload, and they understood that decreased their pay, but it was worth it because they weren't seeing their kids and they didn't have enough me time, and that trade-out was worth it. So we always have that choice. We can't just sit and blame the career because we chose to get involved in that career. And again, let's go back to lie number 1. We can do the best with what we've got, right? So the mental shift that I want to kind of approach you with on this one is when you've got a super busy work schedule, you need to realize that you can't hold yourself to an unrealistic standard with the food and fitness, but you do have to do something to maintain your health. All right, so you can't, let's talk about driving a car. You may not be able to drive 100 miles per hour like your friends, all right, but you can cruise along at that 35 miles per hour rate for a while and just do the best that you can to eat clean and exercise when you can. All right, so you can't hold yourself to the standard of your buddy that works 40 hours a week when you're working 80. That's not fair to you. All right, you made the choice. Let's say that there's no option to decrease your hours in the near future. All right, what can we do? What do we have to work with? Let's start making positive decisions. What can we do? Let's focus on that, not on what we cannot do. And just kind of feeling sorry for ourselves and complaining about it. Really lock in tight and say, all right, what can I actually do with the time? I've got a pocket at lunch on Wednesday. I can get a group of my coworkers together and we can go play basketball at lunch. Awesome. Do that every week. All right, when you do eat clean. If it's 1 meal a day, eat clean that 1 meal a day. If it's 3 meals a day, eat clean those 3 meals a day. Do what you can do and build momentum. All right? All right. Lie number 3. This is the one I really get fired up about. So get ready for the complainy pants voice. I'm going to bring it to you right away. My kids keep me too busy. My kids just keep me so busy. All right? That was kind of a weak attempt at the complaining pants. That wasn't super good, but we'll roll with it. All right. So when I first launched my boot camp program, I had a client that I'll admit that this person kind of drove me crazy, all right, because they were always using their kids as an excuse as to why they couldn't follow the meal plan and they couldn't show up for the workouts or show up on time, all right. And one day, this individual showed up late for class again, and I gave them some grief about it. It wasn't like, I'm going to embarrass you in front of the whole class, but I was like, hey, I've already done all the demonstrations. You're usually late. I got to take time to kind of catch you up, and it's taking time away from other people. It was that sort of thing. And, oh, my gosh, they went into rage mode. Like, obviously, they were probably primed because they were running late, stressed, and I was 24 years old, and I didn't know any better, all right? So I kind of poked the bear a little bit. But they went into rage mode, and they said to me a very profound statement. They said, wait until you have kids. I didn't have any kids at this point. So wait until you have kids. And they pointed at me all mean. And I came up. It just came to me. And this is what I said. I said, my kids will be a part of my why, not my why not. And I just kind of dropped the mic right there. My kids are a part of my why, not my why not. Why are you using your kids as an excuse? All right, your kids should be a part of the why, not the why not. We've got to quit using the kids as an excuse because, frankly, it's just weak. It's weak sauce, y'all. It's weak. All right, it's like, let's use the baseball analogy again. It's like there's some sort of mind-warping force field that surrounds youth baseball diamonds across the globe, and when adults cross the threshold, they get to put on their best crybaby pants and sit on their ass and eat popcorn and hot dogs for the entire day. And then, of course, post on Facebook about how miserable they feel and get other people to feel sorry for them on Facebook. That's very common. You go on Facebook right now on a weekend, you're going to see one of these posts, and then we'll have a laugh about it. So then, they do this baseball thing, and they come crying back to me. I just couldn't follow the plan. I was at my kids' baseball games all day long. Wow. So, really? Have you ever heard of a thing called a cooler? It's this awesome invention that will keep your healthy food and drinks fresh as you enjoy cheering your kid along during their baseball games. And did you realize that you're outside where you are able to move around and be active? You do not have to glue your butt to the bleachers. There's no rule about that. So I came up with an idea. Here's a little game that you can play. You get a group of like-minded parents together that maybe some other people like to work out, and they've got their complaining pants on. You're all wearing your complaining pants in the bleachers, and you can say, hey, let's Magic Mike these complaining pants. Let's rip them off. Let's go down there by the fence, and we're going to play a little game. So when a pitcher throws a ball, you do a push-up. When they throw a strike, you do a squat. When somebody gets a hit, it's a burpee. All right? You can play that little game, and you're going to be active, and you're going to sweat. We can't complain about, I didn't get my regular workout in, remember, because that's just not the situation. You have kids. You are there to support them. That is awesome. They appreciate it. They love you. You love them, and you are there to do your thing. But that doesn't mean, again, that you have to sit and eat popcorn and cry about it on Facebook. So we can do something. You can just walk around the ballpark, climb the bleachers a few times in between innings, burn a few calories, and just do the best. This really is not that hard. So don't fall victim to the baseball diamond mind trap force field. I just invented that. TM, trademarked. All right, lie number 4. I don't have time to meal prep and eat healthy. I don't have time for that nonsense. So with this one, we have to kind of tie into lie number 1 that I talked about earlier and focus again on doing the best that we can with each meal. What do you got to work with? I already mentioned this a little bit, but the basic rule here is that if you eat something, make sure it's clean, clean option, and that it's in line with your game plan. Now, I know if you have extra large complaining pants, I know what you're thinking, but I don't have time to put a game plan together. So the truth of it is that you don't have time to not put a game plan together. If you're somebody that says, I don't have time to game plan, you can't afford to not put a game plan together because it's going to be such a game changer. This is most likely at the root of your lack of time because you suck at being organized. All right? If you are in a crunch for never having enough time, you don't have time to meal prep and eat healthy, it's most likely, I'll repeat it, because you kind of suck at being organized. You're disorganized. All right? So by investing 20 to 30 minutes a month, 20 to 30 minutes, not a day, not a week, a month. Once every 4 weeks, once every 28 days, put together a game plan, and that's going to save you countless amounts of time. I'll put a link in the show notes, get you my free #1 tool, the Transformation Battle Plan Workbook. It walks you through the entire process. I have to just hit my clients over the head with this thing because nobody's like, oh, planning. I have no time for this nonsense thinking about things ahead of time. What? That sounds dumb. So I have to hit them over the head with it until they finally do it, and they're like, oh, my gosh, dude, what took me so long? Game changer. I love it. I love reflecting. I love thinking ahead. This saves me so much time. I've got more time because I invested some time in planning. All right, so I'll hook you guys up with that. Now, once we get used to working from a game plan, get kind of organized, we get little pockets of time, a little more efficient. All right, your next step is to put together a weekly routine. Right? I know that you have to eat, so you're eventually going to have to go to the grocery store. All right? Now, you don't have to go every week either because I don't. I always look for improvements in efficiency. I talked about my superpowers last episode. One of my superpowers is finding ways to make things more efficient. So I was going every week, and I'm like, you know what? I'm good if I come every other week, and I just buy twice as much, and I'm good to go. So I shop for our family, and I just make sure that I'm stocked up for 2 weeks at a time. That way I don't have to go every week. I spend the same amount of time, in the grocery, and I just get twice as much stuff, and then I don't have to go every other week instead of every week. Boom, save time. There it is. Now, let's say you're that person that's been going every week, and you skip to every other week, and you double up on what you buy. Then what's that do? It frees up time. You can go work out. You can use that other off week as meal prep time, whatever. So you just freed up some time. We found a pocket. You're welcome. I went Moana on you there. You're welcome. All right. So I told you, extra sassy today. I had a great workout. That's what did it. I know it. So with the every other week shopping thing, you just, again, have to know ahead of time what you're going to need, what your family's going to need, and you map it out. All right. So here is another time saver tip. All right. I'm just blasting you with these tips today. Never cook for just one meal. If you're going to stop and spend some time to cook something, make sure you have a few things going at once. All right. So, for example, the other day, this is common. This isn't just, like once a week, I do this. All right. I was cooking up a pound of grass-fed beef with some veggies on the stovetop. So that's going to get me a couple of meals. Sometimes I'll divide it up into 3 meals. So there's 2 to 3 meals right there. But at the same time, I was prepping 12 chicken thighs to cook in the oven. All right, so I got the oven heating up. I'm tossing all the chicken thighs in there. And all I have to do is just toss that in and hit the timer, and that's good to go. And at the same time on the stovetop, I've got 8 hard-boiled eggs going as well. Again, set the timer, good to go. It takes me all the same amount of time to do that, maybe just a couple of extra minutes total just to put the chicken in the oven and then to hard-boiled eggs or whatever. But it's basically I stop doing what I'm doing. There's a break in the action. I'm going to make the most of it. This is especially important for me because I'm self-employed. If I'm working from home, it's really easy to get distracted and go and the new season of Game of Thrones is on. I better watch all of them, things like that. So, you got to be careful, especially if you are running the show. But if you got, regardless of whether you're employee or employer or whatever, if you are just running out of time, this is a great option, especially if you're on the weekend, you're meal prepping. Don't just sit and cook one chicken breast. Why in the hell would you do that? All right, toss a couple in there. Make sure you are cooking for multiple meals. And you got to know, spoilage rates and things like that. You don't want to get yourself sick, but you just need to know that you are ahead of the game. You're setting yourself up to win the next day. Another pro tip I talk about all the time, there's this invention. It's brand new. It's called the crock pot. The crock pot. It will magically cook your food while you're away at work or while you're asleep. I think that one of our podcast episodes might just be sponsored by the Crock-Pot, all right? So you just insert meat, veggies, water, hit the on button, and, that took a total of 5 minutes to prep, and then you're good. So you fall asleep, you wake up, food is ready, or you go to work, you get home, food is ready. It's awesome, all right? So those are the 4 lies, and I know I got a little bit sassy with you. I kind of got in your face about them, and I may have hurt some feelings a little bit, but if you felt like a nerve was touched, that means that you need to fix that one, all right? Especially if you start to project back at me and be like, hey, you're being a jerk, man. You don't understand me. Then just sit with it for a second and just try to drop that attitude and just look at it. Look at it and say, all right, can I look at this from Adam's perspective? Can I look at what he's really trying to say here? Can I make some improvements? It's so easy to put up that negativity shield and be like, oh, he's just being an asshole. That jerk. He doesn't understand me. But I've worked with so many people. It's not about me understanding you. I've worked with over 1,000 people. I've seen so many people from different walks of life, income levels, busyness levels, entrepreneurs, people that work for other people, ages, whatever. And, these lies are there for us all. And we all have to constantly, combat them and set ourselves up to succeed. All right? So just remember that when it comes to not having enough time, we always have a choice, which means we have to take ownership over the situation. All right? We can choose to own the situation or be crushed by it. And that's why I always want you to get out there. I'm always saying, own it, right? So it's extra important. This week, I want you to get out there and own it. Every meal, every workout, every day, and especially at every trip to that baseball diamond. We'll see you guys on the next episode. So before I let you guys go, I've got something new to tell you about. I've been getting a ton of messages from you guys asking me about getting started. What's the best way to get started? What should I do? How should I start using that amazing results formula that you talk about? So I've gone to work and I've created my new Transformation Foundation course. This is the perfect way, in my opinion, to launch a transformation. And you know what? It might be an even better fit for somebody if you are someone that has lost and then regained weight and you just need a fresh start. You need a home base. You need to lay that transformation foundation and build momentum. So with the course, you're going to get a 14-day program to kickstart your transformation momentum. You're going to get my Meltdown Classic Level 1 Nutrition Plan, which that's the base program that I use with my local clients that produce over 35,000 pounds of results so far. We've got online follow-along workouts that are perfect for anyone that is launching the transformation. I've got weekly 30-minute challenges to get you out of your comfort zone. I've got a system to help you make sure that you know how to set up a 28-day game plan. So you know how to put the pieces together with your nutrition, your fitness, your cheat bank, your recovery. It's all going to get mapped out, and you're going to know how to do it. And you're going to gain some serious momentum by learning how to apply that amazing results formula. The best part is, as a loyal podcast listener, you're going to get 50% off. Just enter the promo code Foundation, all caps in the checkout, and you're going to save 50%. That brings the price down to just $25, and you're going to get your Transformation Foundation. To get more info on this awesome new option, just head on over to the website, transformationcoach.me. I'll see you inside the course.